Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I am Dr. Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at very spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. This week, we are reviewing Babysitter, Killer Queen, the sequel to The Babysitter, playing on Netflix right now. So this is going to be fun. I guarantee it. You may agree with us, and you may not, but that's what happens every week. So that's not a surprise. All right, who's here? First up is Crystal Cleveland.
I'm first. Oh,
yes,
wow.
How you doing?
Hi,
Yeah, the living dead girl.
I'm good. I'm really excited to review this movie. I think we're gonna have fun.
Yes, I think we are. All right. No, nice. You missed it. All right. Also joining us all the way from H&R award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr.
It looks so cool with your hair. Now that I see it even bigger, it's even better. The wall is amazing. Yeah.
Oh, look at him go.
What's up? As one of the characters in this movie says, I'm here to spill the Beano.
No. Nice.
One of many funny phrases in this film.
Yes, this film. All right. What are we talking about? Okay, so what we do is we're going to review the movie, and then we're going to chat about it for a while, and then we're going to give our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and then our favorite scene. You want to stick around for that. You definitely do. All right, the film we're talking about tonight is The Babysitter, Killer Queen. It came out September 10th on Netflix. This is a sequel to The Babysitter, a surprise hit from 2017. This is also directed by McG. It's written by Dan Lagana and Brad Morris, along with Jimmy Warden and McG himself, and based on characters by Brian Duffield. It stars Judah Lewis, Jenna Ortega, Emily, Alyn, Andrew Batchelor, Robbie Arnell, Bella Thorne, Hannah Mae Lee, Ken Marino, Leslie Bibb, Chris Wilde, and small spoilers, Samara Weaving. Yes, 2 years after Cole survived a satanic blood cult, he's living another nightmare. High school. And the demons from his past are still making his life hell. All right. This is, as Christopher G. Mohr loves, a horror comedy. This actually might be a comedy horror. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. So what we do first is our first impressions. And since Christopher G. Mohr is our guest host this week, he is going first, sir. First impressions of Babysitter, Killer Queen.
Well, I enjoyed the first film. But, when it comes to sequels, you kind of wonder, what they're going to do the second time around, especially something that's made for Netflix. Well, it looks like, with the second film, they had a whole lot more fun in the creation of the story and sort of, and just everything all around just felt a whole lot more sort of amped up with a lot of visual flourishes that weren't in the first film. But I really, really, really enjoyed this film. There's a few people in social media that seem to not like it as much, but I laughed out loud so many times during this film. I really love the characters. There's some hilarious lines of dialogue said throughout. I mean, there's a lot of pop culture references and stuff. In fact, there's, we already have King Batch, who's got to start doing Vine videos, who's like one of the main characters. Amanda Cerny from Instagram and Vine fame has a small cameo in it, but it's more than just that. I don't know. This is definitely an amped up comedy. I mean, the first film had a lot of fun with the horror comedy elements. And it definitely doesn't shy away from the blood at all.
No, not at all.
Lots of heads exploding. There's even though it's not fun to relish in the death of animals. There's a death of a deer that made me laugh just in how it happened. But yeah, I there's just so many really funny visual gags. There's a lot of funny, and then also cinematography wise. I mean, there's a really cool thing at the very beginning, because like in most like teen comedies, there's like a scene where when he sees the girl that he has a thing for, and she walks in slow motion. Well, there's a scene where he's having the conversation and everybody around them is in slow motion except for them. And things like that I thought were really cool, you know, or like when he visualizes that the school is like a prison and it turns into this reddish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things like that I think very funny. There's a lot of flashback type stuff that so we'll give a little bit more detail on some of the main villain characters. There's even a whole like Mortal Kombat bit towards the end that's kind of funny. So yeah, it just looked like they were having a lot of fun. There's definitely, I mean, I really love the new character. What is it? The played by Phoebe, played by Jenny Ortega.
Yes,
I liked her.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you know, damn. I was like, I wish that girl was in my high school when I was growing up. She had making all these movie references. It's like, I think I would have been a whole lot happier when I was in high school. But yeah, there's a nice little twist that they don't really give away in the trailers. That's kind of cool. I loved everybody. I thought all the characters are funny. You know, all of them doing their same bits. Bella Thorne being herself, probably not acting at all, which is fine. It made me laugh. Or talk about how beautiful she is and stuff. And then you have the shirtless guy who's just funny as heck.
Robbie Amell. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So just I don't know. It's I think really it just seemed like they were having fun. And there's just so many lines. There's so many quotable lines that just made me laugh out loud. So yeah, I came away from this movie, man, thinking like, man, I really want to be able to write that kind of dialogue, and it not feel forced coming out of these characters' mouths. You know, I mean, to me, it was almost like, for those people that grew up watching a lot of Savage Steve Holland stuff like Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer, it's almost like his with a little mixture of John Hughes with a little bit of Edgar Wright with the visual flourishes, and then you add a little bit of Looney Tunes in there as well. So there's just, because a lot of the deaths are just over the top, goofy. A lot of the characters are big and goofy, so it has all those different elements mishmashed together to sort of make it just a fun combination of a lot of different elements that, you know, you just don't take it, just go into it not thinking this is supposed to be any series at all. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. I really thoroughly enjoyed this, much more than I expected. I mean, I was smiling, you know, ear to ear at several points. I mean, just from the get-go, I mean, because there's just characters you don't expect them to say things like that not to give anything away, but when Phoebe shows up in that classroom and she says all these crazy things, and at the end the teacher's like, "Oh yeah, crazy bitch,
you're crazy bitch."
And I just wasn't expecting this nice teacher. He said, and those type of things, those weird, you know, weird phrases that some of these characters, and it's probably not the normal thing anybody would say, but it just made me laugh to where I can't wait to watch it again, just to laugh at it again. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film much more than what I expected. And maybe it's just my kind of film, because like I've been telling people on social media throughout the day, comedy is much more subjective than horror.
It is.
And if you mix the two, there's going to be people that love it, and there's going to be people that don't like it or hate it. And that's fine. But I really loved it.
Yeah. There's also a little bit of controversy around Bella Thorne that may be tainting
some people. That's probably got more to do with it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right, up next,
or not
is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead girl. What is your first impression of Babysitter, a Killer Queen?
So I completely agree with Christopher. I freaking love this movie. I love this movie. I was laughing so hard. So Plan P, what is it? Plan B is more than the pill I take on Saturday.
I wrote that quote down too.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I was so dead. I was like, this bitch. Oh my God. Yeah. But it's also used to masturbate, talking about the lotion like his dad. Like the whole movie is funny. There is really not hardly a single that was super great grammar, Crystal. There's hardly a single I'm actually trying to think if there are any serious moments in it. I don't really think that there are. I mean, it doesn't matter who gets got. It was still funny. I don't even care. You know, I mean, the way that the kills were set up and the way that they were done was very over the top. There was some kind of ridiculous CGI, and I even laughed at that because it was funny. There was a lot of spurting blood, which I loved because, you know, I love the red. So many references, as Christopher mentioned, like, oh God, Travis Scott, Jordan Peele. I mean, Stay Golden, Pony. I mean, I just you just have to go. I mean, it's just one after another after another. And I think it's for all age groups. I mean, well, maybe not someone that's like too old, but it's pretty much for all age groups. I think that everyone will have something to enjoy here. Pretty much. I mean, it's a visually compelling movie. I think it's very colorful, kind of vibrant, and I love the cameo at the end. Made me a little bit sad. Love the dad. Oh my God, he's a riot. I feel like he was way funnier in this one than he was even in the first one. Actually, both of the parents. The wife is. Did you take pot? Did you take pot? It just kills me. I'm like, why wouldn't you say smoke? Why wouldn't you say smoke? Why?
Why take?
Why? How is he? I mean, I guess he could eat it and stuff, but I'm like, is that what she's assuming that they're? Anyway, it doesn't even matter.
I don't think she knows.
But there is that funny bit where they go to the guy's house and he's like, "That did you smoke pot here?" It's like, "Is that why you try to stick it in my?" And then they cut away. Things like that are just like so freaking fun, and there's a great soundtrack in it as well. There's so many.
Oh my God, they have the Cramp songs.
There's like a lot of 80s songs in it that just you just win me over if you put a lot of 80s songs in it.
Oh, what is the song where they're like, jump on it,
Apache?
Mm-hmm.
Like that?
I
don't know what it is, but they're
dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So yeah, the soundtrack's amazing. You're so right, Christopher. But when I heard the Cramps, I was like, wait, wow. So yeah. Oh, a Bukkake reference. That's special.
Oh yeah, there was.
Yeah. You're gonna spray blood all over your face like you're in a Bukkake video. Yeah.
So if you think that those references are funny, then you're gonna love the movie. If you don't, you might have a stick up your butt. And
there might be some sticks.
So that's basically the highbrow comedy that you're about to watch when you watch this movie.
That's right. All right. So here's my opinion. Are you ready? This movie is so stupid. So stupid.
And you loved it.
And I love every dumb minute of it. Oh my God. It is stupid on purpose. It plays with these characters that are just, too dense to know what the hell's going on. They're, which is, I don't know. It makes for some great funny bits and Wile E. Coyote bits out there with boulders, and nobody keeps their head on. It's insane. And we get a new batch of characters. There's a couple surprises in place there, and then, there's also, like you said, the cameo, which we may have spoiled earlier, but it actually has a little bit of heart and tenderness to it as well. There's kind of like this odd message of acceptance, between our two protagonists, right? And I love these two characters. I love Phoebe and Cole. I think they were so great together. And the whole thing with that weird camper guy and the way Cole jumped into it, and it was just, oh my God, he was so funny the way he, took control of that conversation and saved Phoebe. It was hilarious. And then of course, Sonya shows up with a flamethrower, and that was hilarious too.
Makes me want a flamethrower.
Does it? I'm sure.
Yeah.
So there's so many funny gags there. It has that awkward high school kind of feel to it. It's kind of pushing those characters, and if you had an awkward high school experience, you're going to like it a lot more. The parents are funny, And we also Melanie comes back, and Melanie's dad is back, and he is hilarious, especially at the cabin. Like, a cabin in the woods. Nobody ever dies in a cabin in the woods, So they know what they're doing, right? They know what kind of movie they're making, and there's a lot of tongues and cheeks and whatnot. So it is kind of just this farce of a horror comedy, but for me in the best way possible. I really love this movie. It may be one of my favorites of the year. I don't know. I like this Judah Lewis. I think he's a great lead guy, and he grew up. It was like, because remember, he was just a kid.
Yeah, I was a baby. Is that 2 years, really? Has it really only been 2 years?
Well, it's been 3 years because it was 2017 in this, but yeah, they say it's 2 years in this in the credits, but it just I think his delivery is hilarious. Jenna Ortega is probably VIP in this. When she comes in the classroom and says 3 things about herself, and then ends up with I'm late, and it just makes me want to scream. Oh my god, she just has this snarky way about her that is so hilarious and deadpan. What is she saying when she walks down the hall with another one of those another one of the new villains? Something about going to the party, and goes, "Yeah, I'm going to stick my finger up your butt when I get there." It's like,
I'm going to finger you.
Yeah. And he's like, whoa. He just doesn't know what to say. It's just, it's just that great delivery that she has was far better than
she was.
mine.
Did you see her in You? Did you watch You? She was good in that too.
No, I didn't.
She's awesome.
Yeah, Robbie Amell as Max, the shirtless guy.
That character I can't handle.
He
is such a douche. He
is so funny though. Oh my god, he's like, just like, man, you killed me, and I just like you better. Is that weird?
He's like, oh, good, just like I taught you.
Yes, he's so proud of him. It's just a well written and well delivered character. Well, I don't know about well written. It's just I guess it is well written. Is it well written, Christopher?
Yes.
I think it is, because it really takes a lot to deliver certain types of lines. And part of that is probably the actors, but I think it's, to me, it's not well written on the level of like, not
Tarantino,
some
right?
famous movie or something. Yeah. Well, even Tarantino is a little bit like this too. There's a lot of funny lines, but Tarantino is a different type of speech pattern altogether. But I'm just talking about, like, this isn't like, some like Academy Award winning type dramas or whatever. This is well written for a comedy, because there's certain like lines. There's even payoff to certain things, because in that first scene where we see the Phoebe character, and she talks about one of her favorite movies is what is the name of it? Deliverance. And then we get a reference to that. And then there's references to like Terminator movies and stuff.
That's right. He was playing it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that the jokes pay off, but but yeah, I think it's well written in a comedy sense, because you just don't have random lines for no reason. They're sad because of certain types of characters, and because they're that type of character, they're going to deliver a line. Like the Melanie character, who has all these, she has these lines that are kind of stuck up type lines, or even what's her name, Bella Thorne, as Allison. She's just like, she's definitely the full of herself type character.
What I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You're lucky because I'm hot.
There's like,
forget your hot redheaded friend. I was like, yeah.
Like what kind of person would wear fuck me pumps out in the middle of a desert? It's like, they're not fuck me pumps, they're fuck you pumps.
You pumps.
There's just like, there's actually some really inventive lines, and granted, some people are gonna crack on that because they're trying to be too precious or trying to be too comedic or they're making too many references. I mean, there's one part I laughed because it's a reference to Pee-wee's Big Adventure when she gets the ride from the trucker. She gets to tell them Large Marge sent you.
Yeah.
And I laughed out loud because it's like, she's the movie geek, so she's going to make those lines or she's going to make references to movies. And there's even a funny montage that makes fun of all those montages you see in certain things where they even use a Wilhelm scream at the very end to top it off, which is perfection. So I don't know. I think in a comedy sense, and again, it's like my parents love comedies I hate. They just like these really, really stupid comedies. They're just but at the same time, they can't stand comedies that I like Airplane or that are a different type of stupid.
Wow.
But this is not a insult, but this is my kind of stupid. This film is my kind of sort of fun to where it, where it sort of like it marinates in this level of craziness and silliness and pop culture references and that kind of thing. And even sometimes just like really, sex jokes or whatever, but, and you go along with the ride. So I don't know. I just literally really laughed at this movie a lot. And sometimes when you have these type of films, it's just sometimes it's just about the dialogue, but you don't like the characters, or you like the characters, but the dialogue doesn't seem right. And this one, everything came together for me to where I enjoyed it from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, even so one of the things I hate in movies is when they like splash fake blood on the screen. It just feels annoying. But here it was funny. It was used in the way it should be used, right? Because it was meant to be hilarious. So there's just a lot going on.
I will say really only if I could give it one critique, I think on a film that's this kind of like polished look and budget, there's a few special effects things that kind of bugged me, because there's one part where the characters appear out of these scarecrows, and it's just like, that's like a really, really bad dissolve thing. That's like, I don't even find it funny. I was like, really? You have the budget to actually make that look better? I mean, I could, send me the footage. I could have done a better job. So that's the only thing that kind of bothered me. The bad wig on B didn't bother you? Oh, I was about to say that. You can tell that was a wig. You can definitely tell that was a wig.
Yeah, it made her actually. That is one thing that kind of bothered me, because it made her look kind of sickly,
like gaunt. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, was she shooting some movie where she had to lose like weight, or she?
I think it was partially the hair, because it's so like it's like just thin, like you can only see like. Yeah,
it looked weird, but maybe all that time when she was in hell or whatever,
she's still
they
hot.
didn't feed her, and so we can say that. But I mean, there's a couple of special effects. There's like that. I guess maybe it's more about the limitations, because when you're doing all the stuff that you're doing. But I don't know, I think for the most part, some of the gore effects were really well done, and the
antler I think was awesome.
The antler, or just. A
really good decapitation early on. Yep.
Oh yeah, there's
there's two
surfboard.
Surfboard decapitation
or rocks.
The
Bella Thorne gets
hammered.
Yes.
No, but she's hilarious. Her shooting everywhere. I'm sorry, I just found that hilarious. I know. We have little anger toward her now, but that was so funny, just how and then yet when it comes to the deer, she's a crack shot. Okay. I'm like, wait, she got that thing dead on, and then everywhere else she's like ting 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 ting.
It was hilarious that the legs were still there standing.
That cracked me up. I was laughing for a couple of minutes after that, because it was just, I wasn't expecting that. I just expected it when the legs are just still standing there. I thought that was so fucking funny. I mean, PETA may not think that, but I just thought it was. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I think that's the unexpectedness in certain scenes made me laugh, because there's even one part where, just simple things like there's a part where Phoebe's talking to Cole, and and the music's playing, and it's like, what about this? And instead of like that, like the record scratch, the music just goes whoop, it just kind of stops abruptly so she could answer. And little things like that, just where they're just having fun with the cinematic form. And because I'm sure some people like the whole Mortal Kombat thing probably might have been stupid to some people, because then you're wondering, it's like, where are they getting these powers from? All of a sudden. But I don't know. I think sometimes it's good when you can see the filmmakers and the people behind it just having like, oh, this would be kind of funny if we did this. That's what it felt like.
The boat scene where the two are talking, it's felt so 80s, where they're like having their moment, on the boat. And it's like, I don't know. I just really, and the music behind it, it felt like a 16 Candles type. I don't know exactly what the movie references to that, but it's definitely like harkens back to that for me. I thought it was really sweet.
You mean
I
like
love
now?
Yeah.
And I like that they use text. They use text on screen.
What
from
the?
time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what the fuck? And then when they were talking about that all the kids kind of try to hack the world using drugs, and they were showing everybody had like a little drug sign over their head, and one guy had cocaine as his drug, another one had whiskey, and it was just there were some funny things that just little sight gags. I guess it is kind of like in the airplane mode, right? I mean, not that far, but it is stretching into that kind of realm.
It's just in a different way. It's just I hate to say it's more subtle, because it's really not subtle.
It's not subtle. Is it a Mel Brooks influence? Maybe early Mel Brooks, at least.
I don't know. I think to me that's a little bit more contemporary than Mel Brooks. I think it's more like almost like Edgar Wright's, Scott Pilgrim versus the World type thing.
Yes. Oh, that's a perfect reference.
Or even some of Edgar Wright stuff, or even just like there's bits that feel very like Family Guy or something, to where they'll talk about something and then it'll cut to something else really quickly. So yeah, it has a lot of those elements you find in a lot of different comedy type things, but it is definitely more of a contemporary comedy type stuff, and it's not like the satires of old, because it's less airplane and more just more of the sort of meta type comedy that sometimes they do like in TV shows and stuff.
Yeah. So there you go, the anatomy of a horror comedy right here on magazine. All right, so it's time to wrap this up. So what we do is we give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. You want to catch us. This is going to be fun because there are a lot of scenes to choose.
It's kind of hard to.
It's going to be hard to pick just one. Yes, but before we do. Crystal's waiting. Please subscribe down below. Yes, that'll help us out. Hit the like button, the dislike button, or whichever button. Hit the bell so you can be reminded. Leave us some comments. Let us know if you like this movie. Let us know if you didn't and why.
Yeah, you'll get more out of it than subscribing to Bella Thorne's OnlyFans. That's for sure.
That's true, though.
Send all hate mail to Christopher G. Mohr.
I think that's valid.
All right. Well, let's do this. Final thoughts. Our score. Favorite scene. Christopher G. Mohr, you're up first, sir. Let us have it.
All right. Well, I had a blast watching this film, and I watched it. Actually, just watched it late last night, and I was already in a tired mode. And this film woke me up because I was laughing throughout it. And I was really enjoying a lot of the production design and visual stuff that was going on, the cinematography in certain parts, which sort of like helped to sell some of the visual bits, from the use of slow motion to, funny flashbacks to, Mortal Kombat sequence. It just the dialogue was just so like hilariously crazy and witty in parts, even referencing to other films and that kind of thing, which is right up my alley. So I thought this film was so much fun. It's definitely one of my favorite horror films of the year. It's in my top 10 for sure, if not towards the top, because I think one of the things that as I get older is I love films that keep me entertained, that make me think back at it and make me laugh. As a huge fan of horror comedies, some of those could be more hit or miss, and this hits a whole lot more than Bella Thorne's shooting abilities. That's for sure. It's on the mark with a lot of the dialogue. I really cared about the characters.
Oh, nice.
The Phoebe and Cole character, I really love those two characters, and I also like the villains because they're so like, they're individually just batshit crazy, but in a really funny way. And some of their there's like, I think one of the funny bits is where what's the black guy who's known as King Bach or Botch or whatever, but he has like a there's a part where he's Cole's character is trying to escape off the boat, and he's doing like a hammer dance, and then he's like like shaking his butt, like twerking, and it just physical bits like that just made me laugh because each character had their own way that they would deal with things. Bella Thorne her character was always concerned about, oh my God, you shot me in my boob, things like that. And you have like the Amell character where he's always shirtless, and so he's basically a himbo, a little bit smarter than a himbo, but a himbo nonetheless. It's just each character. The other one was always eating a cookie for some reason. It was just stupid things that don't really make a lot of sense, but they make enough funny sense to sort of move the plot along to where I was always wondering what was going to happen next. So yeah, I really love the film. I think my only critique, like I said, was probably some of the CGI that sort of like, if you're going to be consistent with it, keep it consistent. So rating wise, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. I comedies, I can't be as restrictive on if I really enjoy it. And this is a film that it's going to be in my normal thing. If I'm feeling bad, I'm going to watch it because I know it's going to make me laugh. And there's lines of this that I'm still going to think about way after, even the music and stuff would get me pumped, because I was like, I'd love to be, as a filmmaker, I'd love to have the budget to be able to use
just for the
all
music,
these famous songs that you. There's even like, and there's
Queen.
And there's also a weird combination because there's like one song I think you usually see in like Vietnam films or something, where they're going through the jungle. There's like one song they use in like one scene or whatever. But they just work so well within the context of this and just the interaction with all the characters and just the silly situations that like if somebody cuts your arms off, you're still going to be more concerned about other stupid shit, which makes it even funnier. So I'm trying not to give away what that is. As for favorite scene, damn. I will say this is so hard.
Everybody's watching you think. Watch Christopher think. Look at that brain.
Okay, I'll do two quick little things.
Okay.
Cinematography wise, I love the scene that takes place where they visually have everybody walking in slow motion around them while they're having a conversation. So I thought that was such a brilliant bit that's sort of taking that trope that you see in a lot of teen comedies and putting their own spin on that. So when you can take something and make it your own, that's primo. And I think that's one of the real standout things of this comedy. As for a specific scene, I'll just say maybe when they're fighting Bella Thorne's character, because she's so annoying, that was really kind of cool to see how that ends. So I'll say probably when they're having to fight off Bella Thorne, but there's a million different things that I could say. I'll say that just to say that. My answer will change every time you ask me.
All right. Allison. Her character's name was Allison. But
Allison, yeah.
If you want to have it, just kill
She
Bella
doesn't
Thorne.
seem like an Allison.
No, she seemed like Bella Thorne, didn't she? All right.
Yeah, she does a good job in playing Bella Thorne.
All right, Crystal, Cleveland, the Living Dead girl, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, favorite scene?
Obviously, I think you should watch this movie. I think Christopher pretty much summed it up for me and probably all of us. So perfectly. Don't need to say any more other than it is good. I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Oh,
so
nice.
close. Yep. And I want to say the antler scene because I just thought it looked really cool. It actually shocked me. Like my jaw dropped actually for some reason when I saw it. I was like, oh, that was nice and unexpected. But there's this scene where the new villains and the old villains are like there and they're bantering and they're like, hearing is the first to go. And I just thought this was hilarious how these like high school kids are calling these young 20 somethings old. And it was just a riot. I thought their bickering back and forth is very social media, very what we have, I thought it was hilarious. And it's actually in the background to something else that's happening. So it could almost kind of get lost in that. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, there's so much. That's just one thing.
Yeah. I really thought you would go.
And I will say, like, in today's society, I could definitely see someone selling their soul to the devil to become an influencer.
Oh yeah,
totally. Which is like a good sort of one of the sort of things that contemporizes this comedy.
You know what's better than 1 million followers?
A billion
followers. Yes, this movie is a delight. I remember us reviewing the first one back in the day, and it was when we were introduced to Samara Weaving. It's when we took notice of her, right? I mean, that was the year that she was in a couple of things, and I was like,
yeah,
holy cow, this girl is awesome, and she has continued to be awesome. She was even in Bill and Ted Face the Music this year, which she was a delight in. Yeah, she's I guess she's a daughter of Ted, right? She's Theodora, is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
And of course, well, we can talk about her for an hour alone, but this movie is a delight. It's fun. It's gory. It's hilarious. But there are a lot of people who are reacting poorly to it, thinking it's just plain old stupid. And I'm kind of like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But I guess it is really subjective, and I guess this is my kind of funny, and it worked for me. I had a great time with it. It is zany, it is silly, and it is over the top. But that's what the first one was, and this one just kind of keeps going with it. And I mean, there's a boulder scene that I just died. Christopher might have stolen a little bit of that, but so I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this a 4.25 as well. Yeah, I'm going to do that because that's about where I actually increased it by 0.25. So I just talked myself into it. That was what happened. My favorite scene. Okay, there's plenty of favorite scenes that you can choose, and I might say. Oh man, there's so many. I might say like the decapitation with the surfboard was just so. I didn't know they were going to go that far with it, and that was hilarious. You could say when Melanie chops off her father's arms.
Oh yeah.
It's just I'm gonna. Oh, the way you do it. It's just his reaction was.
That's
so
it. Your IUD is coming out.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. This Wild was hilarious, and oh man. So I don't know. There's a lot to choose from, but you know what I'm really going to choose is the introducing English. Everybody try it. Introduction of Phoebe when she comes walking into the room and she says, her favorite her three things about herself, and she just shocks everybody in the room, and it's so funny. It's a great introduction of the character, one of the best introductions of a character in a while. It was so great. Well done. Done.
She kicks that football play. It's like I'm sitting here.
Oh my god! And leave the yogurt.
Leave the yogurt.
Leave it. Leave it red.
Badass, awesome.
She calls him Ginger, right? She called him
she called him
Ginger or something. Like, and he just got up and walked away. Like, where are you?
Because he should fear her.
No kidding.
And then it ends with that teacher
He's
saying his
crazy
little
bitch.
What a great introduction, right? A great
Oh, it's
introduction.
perfect. It's perfect. And at first,
Well-
I thought she was Asian because she had like all this sort of her style of clothing with the
Well,
sunglasses
her
and stuff.
hair. Not everyone can pull that hair off. Too.
Yeah,
she's got like 5 space buns or
Space
something.
buns!
It looked like
Like-
something. It looked like something like the cool kids in Japan would be wearing. So
Yeah.
it's such a cool like sense of style there.
Yeah. She's it. Watch this movie. All right, there you go.
Yeah, give it a chance. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Don't listen to anybody. Give it a chance. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's on Netflix, so you know. At the same
I don't
time,
even think you have
might
to watch
love it.
the first one. I don't even think you would have to watch the first
I
one.
mean,
to
there
enjoy
are
this one.
some bits
really.
that tie into the previous one.
You might not get the shirtless guy without knowing all the first one because of his
Oh,
relationship
yeah,
with her.
I don't know though, because he mentions it, and then you just see him, and you know immediately. Come
But
on,
I will say I don't
I
remember a lot of major elements from the first one because it's been a couple of years.
Did
So I meant to
didn't
watch
watch
it
it.
before I watched this, and it didn't really take away from it. You know.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. You just need the gist of it. All right, there you go. That's our review of Babysitter, the Babysitter, I should say, Killer Queen. And yes, the song's in there, and it's perfect. They used a Queen song in the first movie too, by the way, if you don't remember.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah. So, yay. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck around this long. If you did, thank you very much. And while I'm at it, Crystal and Christopher, thank you for joining me tonight. This was a wonderful conversation, and I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
fun.
I'm glad we could all watch this film and smile and laugh together, even if we're in separate locations.
God, that's
like that.
depressing. Actually, I'm like, cute, cute.
You're welcome.
Oh, God. Let's say goodnight, guys.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.